Hi, and welcome back. You know it's a Jewish home when there's a mezuzah on the door. Let's talk about the mitzvah of mezuzah. That's today's mitzvah. Let's look inside. Mitzvah saseh l'kvor mezuzah b'pesach habayis. It is a positive commandment to affix a mezuzah at the entrance of the house, as Scripture states. And you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Uchesavtam al mezuzos beisecha uv'shorecha. In the mezuzah, a rolled up piece of parchment generally enclosed in the case, two sections of Scripture are written. Here, which is the Shema, and it shall be if you hearken, which is V'haya im Shemoah. A person has a duty to take care about a mezuzah so that every time he enters or leaves, he will encounter the unity of the blessed God written in the mezuzah and will remember his love for him, and so will awaken from his slumber and his errors in the vapid, empty matters of the present. And he will realize that nothing endures forever and ever except the knowledge of the divine rock foundation of the world, God. So he will return at once to his good sense and walk in the straightforward paths of decency. It is in effect everywhere at all times for both man and woman. The mitzvah of mezuzah. Got to have a mezuzah up on the door. It's got Shema and V'haya im Shemoah. I want to point out to you some things that are not mentioned here about mezuzah. It doesn't say that mezuzahs protect your house, because that's not really their function, although Kabbalists like to advance such an idea. The idea is that when you come in and when you go out of your house, that you think about the essential ideas of Judaism, the unity of God, our obligations and the commandments. These are the things that we want to think about when we go in and out of our houses. And that's why we have this mitzvah. Again, the parchment is written the same way, same type of script and same type of lines in parchment as a Torah would be written. And so it has to be written in a very, very special way. Printed mezuzahs are obviously don't work. Although I guess you would encounter the idea of God, but you haven't fulfilled the mitzvah of mezuzah. That's like a technical thing. Like halachically, you haven't done it. The spirit you might get, but you're not getting the halacha. And, we're about halacha. So we're concerned about that. So that's the mitzvah of mezuzah. It's not really a protective amulet, although many people believe that it is. That's not really from a mitzvah point of view. Kabbalists, I'm not here to argue with Kabbalists, but that's not the primary. The primary is not for protection. The primary is clearly for raising consciousness, similar to tefillin, which we talked about, similar to tzitzis, which we talked about. These are objects, ritual objects, that are there to help raise our consciousness about the mitzvah. A couple of other notes about mezuzahs. Mezuzahs should be checked twice every 7 years. That's true for tefillin as well. They should be checked just for deterioration. Most of our mezuzahs are very well protected. Saran wrap is a wonderful invention. Most of our mezuzahs are wrapped in saran wrap so that they don't deteriorate. But you have to be careful, especially with the mezuzah that's placed outdoors between the heat and the humidity, etc. You got to check it every few years just to make sure that it's okay. Checking a mezuzah, that you can just give to me, the rabbi, or anybody else who's knowledgeable. You don't need a sofer to check your mezuzahs. Tefillin, that's a whole different ballgame. That would need a sofer to check it, but you can always check your mezuzahs. It's good to have a mezuzah. Lets everybody know that it's a religious home. I have some neighbors who moved in over here a couple of blocks away. Somebody bought a house. They put a cross on their door. They want them. This is a home where Christianity is respected. This is a Christian home. Huh? Same too. This is a Jewish home. So let's get our mezuzahs up there. If anybody listening to this needs a mezuzah, just let me know. I'm more than happy to get you one. Okay, that's what we got for today. Thank you for being with us. Our next mitzvah is going to be benching. Mitzvah saseh levarach birchas hamazon achar achilas lechem. There is a positive commandment to bench, to say Birkat Hamazon after eating an olive bulk of bread. Much more detail about this next time. Thanks for being with us.